So put your hands together, please. So Daria Kulesh.
Well, thank you so very much. What a beautiful, cozy gathering, and I thoroughly enjoyed the first half. Somebody asked me this evening where I was from. That story and the answer to that question is part of what I do. The answer, shall we say, it's complicated and also very simple. For example, let me tell you one thing. When I was a little girl, I watched the snow falling from the balcony of my grandmother's flat at Tower Block in Moscow. And I was mesmerized and captivated. And I imagined a magical chain of snowflakes connecting people across great distances. And when I close my eyes today, and I can still see the falling snow, and I can feel my grandmother's presence, because in my dreams, that magical chain of snowflakes can connect us over to the other side, to people who are no longer here. And yet, they're ever so close. My grandmother has never left my side. I watch the snow, I dream of it. I watch the snow, I find what I see. Across the miles, I fly to you and reach you as a snowflake on your cheek. Ah, the snow will fall around us all and fill the emptiness between. The sky will touch the land, and I will fly to land. I kiss like the snowflake on your chin. Snow fell, each crack and void, no sense of time, no space for time at all. So soft and pure, the perfect cure of all the wounds, the snow will gently fall. Ah, the snow will fall around us all and fill the emptiness between. The sky will touch the land, and I will fly to land. And kiss like a snowflake on your chin. enjoyed my set. But the first one is that during the drive from Kings Avenue, where I now live, down here, which is only just over 2 hours, I had this crazy idea of actually running a quiz tonight during my set. And yes, so disclaimer, I didn't steal the idea from Jim and Sue. So what I have here, I've never done this before, by the way. And also the other thing that put me in mind of this is, remember when I was starting out, I was playing lots of food and drink festivals. You know, when you have this little stage and then you might get, 2 or 5 people occasionally. But what I really enjoyed doing is putting a set together with lots of songs that were featuring food and drink. And obviously I still have those songs. So the quiz is, well, first of all, actually, the first question is the trickiest. You will need to guess the language that I will be singing in. It's not Russian. Just to get that out of the way. And then I'll have some songs where you will need to listen to the lyrics carefully and write down the reference to the drink or the food, or on several occasions both drink and food. And the way we're going to run this logistically, again, never done this before. So I've got some leftover posters from my Yorkshire tour. And, well, they don't sign posters, apparently some people pay money for those, and you don't have to. So I've got 6 of those, so you can play as teams. Some of you, you don't all have to play. So if you choose to play, you can play as yourself, so I've only got 6 of these though, or as a team. And if a team wins, then you all get a prize. So it actually does, and work in your favour to team up. So I'm going to pass those round, as well as writing implements. I just want to have a little bit of fun. I don't really know what the best way to try and get this going.
One per long table.
Yeah, right.
One per long table.
Well, there's lots of one ways to go. Also, you can have a bit of fun coming up with outrageous team names as well, if you want. Anyway, so while we're doing this, I'm going to sing you this mysterious lullaby in a mystery language that you need to figure out. I will give you a clue. So it's from a country where last year it was snowing in April, and where I met up with my mom and dad because they're quite relaxed on letting Russians in. Which for now will not be named. So next, here's a found harmonium that I found on eBay for £75. Bargain of the century indeed. And I will not ask you to guess the language because honestly, unless you've seen it before, you will have literally no idea. Because the thing about my grandmother and my own heritage is that Moscow was not my grandmother's home. My grandmother came for a place even more outlandish and exotic, a place in the south of Russia in the North Caucasus, a place that speaks its own language, which is nothing like Russian, a place that over decades and centuries has fought for its identity and independence, and has its own songs and stories that I've had the privilege of hearing my grandmother tell. So here's a song from my grandmother's homeland, her long lost home. A place of primordial beauty, a place of harrowing history, a place of very conservative tradition. So the story told in this song of a young girl sacrificing her heart's desire, her love, for the sake of her family's honour, sadly that story is way too common. And yet my grandmother was far too willful to repeat that pattern, but more on that later. So here's a story from Ingushetia, my grandmother's home, which is also known as Ingush Republic or Galgai-Moch, Galgaiche. Galgai-Moch is the land of the tower builders in my grandmother's native tongue. So I will sing the song in Ingush or Galgaiche, and also switch into English, so please do pay attention because there's a reference to a drink. So Yanim Biezem is the name of the song, or Distant Love. Unintended percussion. Oh, let's get the party started. Okay. So, oh, thank you very much. So, this one is from not so far afield, this next song. It's a traditional one from the British Isles. And, Neil, I would like, by the way, big round of applause. We know what Neil does for a living those days, DJ. And I'm sure you've got tons of stories, dodgy stories from weddings. All sorts of bizarre behavior. And
I've seen far too much underwear.
I have to say, there's no underwear in this song, but there is some bizarre behavior, and in fact, I would debate whether the song should be called The False Bride, as it is a traditional title, or whether it should perhaps be called The Deluded Stalker. I'll let you be the judge of that. And also, don't forget, there's a reference to a drink and a food as well, so don't miss that. I once loved a lass, and I loved her so well, and I hated all those who spoke of her ill. And now she's rewarded me well for my love, for she's gone. And when another, and I watch my love as to church she did go, the bride and bridesmaidens, they made a fine show, and I followed on with my heart full of woe. For she's gone, and when and I watched as my love sat down to dine. I sat down beside her, and I poured out the wine, and I thought of this love scene that should have been mine, but she's gone, and with another. All the men in your forest, well, they keep asking me how many strawberries are in the Salt Sea. And I answer them with a tear in my eye. How many ships sail in the forest? So dig me a grave, and if it's waiting, I'll cover it over with wee flowers so sweet, and then lay me down for to take a long sleep, and maybe in time I'll forget her. So they dug him a grave, and they dug him so deep, and covered it over with wee flowers so sweet, and they laid him down Maybe in time he'll forget her. Forget her. Now, don't you just love a song with a happy ending?
Hey.
She's safely wed. Her stalker's safely dead. Right. Now, one more confession from me. And yes, there will be plenty more. My singing escapades, my singing journey, career, whatever you call it, began in an Irish pub in Moscow. Right opposite the Kremlin. So I was singing all those Irish covers. Oh, I see. Yes, there we go. A little bass. Let the wind and the rain and the hail blow high and smoke come tumbling from the sky. She's as sweet as apple pie. She'll get her own love by and by. When she gets a love of her own, she won't tell her mama when she comes home. Let them all come as they will. It's up but moody, she loves still. So that was actually not a proper song. But if you got the good stuff, you said, oh, it's one to like. So, the clientele was way dodgy. You had management consultants, investment bankers, politicians. Yes, I know. So, actually, I could have changed, perhaps I could have changed the course of history by sipping something dodgy or somebody's water. It's like a sorry, I didn't quite get to do that. And here's an Irish song. This one's a proper song, so again, listen out for some references there. I think there's just one for you in there. But anyway, song clearly written by a man. We have a bit of a theme emerging, you know, plenty of wedding bells. And this one has a rather dodgy moral to the story. Apparently, in order to win a beautiful woman's heart, what you need to do is treat her appallingly. So, the man's name, the guy who wrote this song, very misguided, first French is the name. The song is called Pride of Petremore. Anybody knows it?
No.
So if you do, please join in with the chorus. If you do not, don't even try it. Because the song should really be banned for two reasons. Well, first of all, the completely outdated sensibilities, and second, the syllable count per second. So, in order to solve our problem, I have very helpfully inserted a bit in the middle, in between the verses, that just goes nice and gentle oohs and ahs. So please join me with those, and you already know the chorus. And this lovely little chap is the very first instrument that I picked up, because in that Irish pub, I was put together with, well, an incredible band really, so they were all conservatoire students playing Irish covers. And the reason I got the job, because I have no formal music education whatsoever, was perhaps that my accent at the time I didn't do was horrendous. It was perhaps the least horrendous available singers, so as far as Irish songs were concerned. Yes, anyway, I digress, I always do. Here it comes, here's the song. I was going to tell you a little bit about the drum. So yes, I thought I'd pick up an instrument, and obviously I could compete with a conservatoire student. Something easy. I went to Canada, went to a music shop, picked up one of those guys. This one is more the Canadian one, this one's for Orkney. So yeah, I've got trouble. Despite my Russian passport. The upshot of erection is that now the robber sits with his arm around the bride of a shore. I look, my heart is going grey. Ever since the day you wandered far away. I look, there's good fish in the sea, but there's none like the bride of a shore. Ooh, 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 ooh. Now, boys, oh boys, we played, it's hard to grapple. Oh my eye, it was the apple. Now I see her walking to the chapel with a heart for each man in that shore. Now, boys, this is all I have to say. When you do your courting, make no display. If you want to run up to you, just walk the other way, but they're mostly like the bride of a shore. I love my heart is going grey. Ever since the day you wandered far away. I love that fish in the sea, but the sound like the bride of a shore. Ooh, ooh, ooh. But there's none of them like the pride of Petremont. Might need a drink now. You choose to live from serving my vodka. Now, by the way, one of the great misconceptions is that Russian wage statements that will be a complete fabrication of the lie. It's ваше здоровье, to your health. Na zdrowie means something like you're welcome when go and knock yourself out. So yeah, it doesn't work as a toast. And in my grandmother's home, they don't drink. So so let me just check. I'm going to tell you a story from my grandmother's home now, in fact. More weddings. The only thing is this lovely warm ambiance here. I just need to quickly check my tuning. Hopefully it's alright. Maybe I'll also try to multitask and tell you the story at the same time. So, yes, arranged marriages are a bit of a problem in Szwecja and generally among the English community elsewhere. So there's a family in Moscow that I'm being related to from Ingushetia, extremely well off. So whenever their daughter wants to go and see Ed Sheeran, they just fly her over. Yet, last time I spoke to the mom, they were lamenting that the pool of suitors was rather limited. Because as an English girl, good person breeding, well, first of all, you can only marry a man, sorry, Then you can only marry a Muslim man. Then you can only marry an English man. And then you can only marry an English Muslim man of good enough breeding, again, from a noble enough clan compared to your own. So, yes. Yeah, well, last time though she did get married, I got sent some pictures. It looks very expensive. I hope she's happy. So my grandmother did something different. She certainly didn't marry the man that her family told her to. But when I say family, you see, I would like to say that my grandmother's mom and uncle were always in her corner. So her immediate family loved her truly. But when I say family, in the Caucasus, that's the whole clan. Yeah, it's a very Game of Thrones-like system. So usually it's mighty men with mighty moustaches and tall hats decide your fate. But anyway, here's a story about how somehow there are, shall we say, loopholes in that system. This is a story of my grandmother's aunt. Her name was Auntie Nina, and it's a beautiful story of female solidarity because there was another woman, a formidable one, who stood up for Auntie Nina, and that was my grandmother's own grandmother. So she said at a clan gathering, just the right words at just the right time. And this is a lovely story about how sometimes, and I wish, of course, there was more of this generally in the world, sometimes common sense and kindness and humanity and just simple folk wisdom can triumph over all those divisions that we fabricate between ourselves and those who are different from us. So sometimes, love can win. Sometimes love can win instantly, just like that. Sadly, in my grandmother's case, her story was really rather similar, and yet, even though love still won, it took a few decades, but more on that later. And don't mix those food and drink references. In those songs there are themes. Oh, I was going to check the tuning. I might need it. 1 second, got carried away. Well, while I'm doing this, just to be helpful, I'm going to say that there's one drink, I believe, and there's at least two foods. So this one's very rich in calories. Sorry?
Auntie Nina was white as milk, smooth as silk, calm and poised. When her family picked her husband, she obeyed as she was supposed to. Oil and milk never mix, milk and bread much never bread. Dowry paid, tables laid, unlikely lovers safely wed. He was an oilman, sticky and slick, chasing skirts, laughing stock. When she left him, nobody judged her. He's no match for her, was the talk. Oil and milk never mix, milk and bread much better blend. She got burnt, he got spurned, unlikely lover, safely fled. She found love with a Russian doctor, warm and gentle, like fresh baked bread. Shocked the family, tried to stop her, but this is what the matriarch said. Her first marriage left bitter taste. With her second, let her drink honey. If the Russian accepts our fate, they can marry. Oil and milk never mix, milk and bread much better blend. Lesson learned, tables turned, unlikely lovers safely wed. Safely wed.
Yes, I've just realised myself there's a bit of a pun in this song. It does count. And I guess one of those foodstuffs can count both as a drink or as a food. If you're following this, you know you don't have to, by the way. You know what I mean. But I'll be very flexible with prize giving. By the way, I haven't even told you what the prize is. It's a free download download from Bandcamp, so you just need to go to the website that's printed on the flyer and put in a code. It's a free Bandcamp download of my album Long Lost Home, which talks about my grandmother and her journey and my journey to rediscover her long lost home and reconnect the family. So I've got plenty of those lovely flyers. So yes, if a whole team wins, you each get a download code. So there we go. Oh, right. So yes, what happened to my grandmother then? She fell in love with a Russian doctor too. But sadly, her choice led to her exile, to her spending the rest of her life in Moscow and not being able to go back home. And that in fact was the second time that my grandmother lost her homeland. The first time, well, that's another confession that I will make later, and that is a far more complicated story. But the second time she lost her home, well, she was a willful young woman, very much in love, and she chose to follow her heart. By the way, I've got an album of family photographs on there, so after I've finished singing and talking at you, please come and have a look, and you can meet my grandmother and other family members. I bet you're quite intrigued, so you're very welcome to say hello. But anyway, the fate of my grandmother rather puts me in mind of a story that I learned after I came to the UK and came across some local folklore in the county of Hertfordshire, which is where I now reside, the village of Walker to be specific, and the tale of Jane Wenham, the Witch of Walker. You see, a woman again who was a bit different perhaps, so the local community decided to entertain themselves by having a bit of a witch trial. However, the story does have a happy ending, thanks to, I'm not going to spoil the story, thanks to one man and one woman. And, by the way, I would like you all to join me on a witch hunt. You can be completely guilt-free because you know that things all end up well, so no worries. Get your pitchforks, your torches ready, but best of all, your pointing fingers. All right.
Best I can do for
Pretty much, yeah, a little bit of spooky bass indeed. So, you see, I run classes for babies and toddlers about music, and I teach them to point. So, let's imagine that. It's a mighty music session. Point to the ceiling.
You've done it now.
Amazing, love it. Shall I get all my kids from the car?
No!
Mini maracas! I know, it's very cute. Yeah, right, anyway, different song. What I would like you to do this time round is point at me. Go on. Now, I would like to feel lots of passion, lots of built up, pent up anger, maybe. A witch! A witch! Go on.
A witch! A witch!
I really mean it. Anyway, let's go. True story, you know, the best ones are true, can make them up. She comes a-knocking at your door, she begs for turning sense and straw. And if you fail to give her that, she'll come back as a devil cat. She'll make your name and hex your child, she'll send you running through the wild. Enough of patience
of chain the well approach, she's dangerous, we want her gone. Be gone, be gone. Hey judge, there's not that you can do, we say she's guilty through and through. We are the jury after all, so may the devil take us all.
A witch! A witch!
She is beyond a doubt.
A witch! A witch!
Inside and out, beware of chain the well approach, she's dangerous, we want her gone. Be gone, be gone. Now she will hang the well prone, may God be praised, we want her gone. Be gone, be gone. But your is the truth, the witch has put a spell on you. To London town you went to beg a royal pardon for the hag. Our gracious queen, what did he say to lead your majesty astray? The witch will live to our dismay. There's nothing we can do but pray.
A witch! A witch!
She is beyond a doubt.
A witch! A witch!
Inside and out, beware of Jane the well approach, she's dangerous, we want her gone. Be gone, be gone. Be gone, be gone.
Hey!
Thank you. Most excellent witch hunting skills. And now let me sing you a little song that I like to call an unexpected cover. And a little bit of a history lesson as well. Because my grandmother's people, the Highlanders of Caucasus, there were quite a few different nations there. So the English, Dagestani, comprising the Balkars, Chechens. So their bitter enemies were, of course, the Cossacks. But at the same time, there was a lot of mutual respect and a lot of learning from each other. In fact, the Cossacks learned quite a lot. So when you think of Cossack dancing and Cossack skills on horseback, well, a lot of that was actually learned from the Highlanders. But anyway, the Cossacks themselves haven't always been the loyal dogs of the Tsars who went on expanding the Russian Empire's borders and colonizing and civilizing the so-called savages. They rose up in the 17th century under the leadership of Stenka Razin, the Cossack ataman or commander, because the Tsars were going to enslave the people, and the Cossacks valued nothing above their freedom. And they stood up for everybody else's freedom, because the Tsars were turning every peasant into a serf, a slave, property of the landlord. And the Cossacks didn't like that idea one bit. So, well, sadly, as much as that uprising could have changed history, it failed to do so. And here's a little story that sheds some light on the fact that despite the Cossacks had a very just cause, their methods weren't always the best, and certainly their treatment of women, especially captive Muslim women, left a lot to be desired. So here's a song that will be familiar to you. You'll recognize the tune. In fact, a certain Australian band had a big hit with it back in the day. And yet, originally, it tells the story of Stenka Razin's wedding. Aboard his pirate flotilla on the river Volga, they had just enjoyed a brazen victory over the Persian fleet and plenty of plunder, including beautiful women, and one of them a Persian princess.
Glasgow wanted her all for himself. And this is what transpired. With a bit of blokey banter as well. That isn't always as harmful as you think. Oh, by the way, this is the last song of the quiz. So, listen out. Proudly sailed the arrow-breasted ships of Cossack yeomanry. On the first ship, Stinker-Razin, captive princess by his side, drunken stars in marriage revels with his beautiful young bride. Like a drum, my heart was beating, and your kiss was sweet as wine. Downcast the princess, like a ghost in reverie, sits in silence as her captor ransom raves in drunken glee. From behind there comes a murmur, has a leader been a maid? One short night tempting Glasgow, for a wench has us betrayed. Роги черные сошлись, надвигается гроза, алой кровью налились атамановые глаза. Стенька kisses and the princess he has circled with his hand. Volga, Volga, mother Volga, Volga русская река, не видала ты подарка от донского казака. You've not had yet such a present from the Cossacks of the dawn. Now with one swift mighty motion he has raised his bridle high and has caused her where the waters of the Volga roll and sigh. He's a boy, ее бросает в набежавшую волну. Though the carnival is over, I will love you till I die.
Спасибо. Now, how strict we are with the timings?
How much? What have you got? You've got to mark the quiz. Is there something?
Oh, yes, actually, that's great. And how many songs do you think I can have after the quiz?
22 more.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, good deal. Right. So, everybody, shall we mark the quiz?
Yeah.
Can you please pass on your... So 1, 5 more. Okay.
That's right.
Very much.
Use lots of pine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, points for that. Right, now, first of all, let's find out if we get the language correct. The language is Serbian. Nobody got Serbian. Sorry about that. Okay, who got water on Distant Love?
Yes.
Got that. So on 3, okay, there's no answer here. Let me just figure this out. Yeah. So yes, we've got wine. And yes, strawberries, that's right. This one's good.
And scone.
So then we do have apple. Then number 5. You know, bonus points for stock. I didn't even realize that actually. Yeah, laughing stock, you know. So of course we have milk, bread, and honey. Yeah, honey can count roasted either as a drink or food. Oil. Exactly, that's right, because actually, you know what, and that didn't occur to me, yes, definitely get points for that. Oil, in this case, obviously, that was the oil, the type of oil that you can't drink, because a lot of the wealth in the Caucasus comes from oil. Yeah, so that's why Antonina was married off to that oil oligarch, if you like, family. Plenty of money.
That cuts oil.
So yes, but definitely oil counts as food or drink if not So, okay, great. Then on the witch song it's turnips, of course, a turnip. Oh, yeah, she makes the turnip. Oh, yeah, I guess you copied that. And yeah, the last one's nice and easy. Of course, it's wine again. So,
You also have rebels.
Yes, we've got
Trying a bit hard there.
This is not competitive at all, is it?
There was some liquor there as well.
Yeah, liquor.
Oh, liquor.
Yeah, liquor. Yeah, we have liquor. Liquor and oil.
actually, while the score is being counted, that's another 6 left, sorry. So, you know, obviously you might get a little bit upset if you don't win. So we bring that all together and we celebrate. Well, we celebrate all that we have in common by singing songs, and we have quite a few songs in common, miraculously. So here's a song that started its journey in Russia, written by a very unlucky chap called Boris Fomin. Obviously you've forgotten his name already. And he wrote this cracking tune that everybody absolutely loved. But one person didn't like it very much. His name was Joseph Stalin. So that's really bad luck in my book. He thought the song was way too decadent. Oh, come on, let's enjoy our decadence. Decadence is great, isn't it? So anyway, around 50 years ago, or actually past all the COVID years, it's been more than that now, this song re-emerged in completely different guise, completely different language. and then traveled the world, took the world by storm, which is why I'm going to sing it in 4 languages, because those are the languages that I have encountered on my travels. And please do join in whichever language you prefer. And once the song is finished, we will announce the winner of the quiz.
I'm going for Tajik. Tajik, yeah.
Because they're soldiers,
Ехали на Троицкую сами, далеко огоньки. Когда вы мне теперь за вами.
By the way, Neil, that's not the crazy song. Those are probably run out of time for the crazy song, so don't worry about that.
Душу бы развеять от тоски. French first, everybody.
Oh no.
Because I like to tease.
C'était dans le fond, en ignorant que l'endemain avait un cru de vie. Dans un vrai moment, ta voix suait ma voix, on était jeunes, l'on croyait au ciel. Those were the days, my friend, we thought they never end. We'd sing and dance forever and a day. We live the life we choose, we fight and never lose. Those were the days. Our sisters were well, then the busy years went rushing by us. We lost our starry oceans on the way. And if by chance I see you at Bluebell Roots Music in the kitchen, we'll smile at one another and we say those were the days, my friend. We thought they'd never end. We'd sing and dance forever and a day. We'd live the life we choose. We'd fight and never lose. But we're the young and chasing our way. Einen Tag, mein Freund, da haben wir gemeint, die Zeit verstehen allein und für uns zwei. Doch ewig nachgedacht und alles war gemacht, da war der Tag für uns schon längst vorbei. Дорогу длинною, дорожкой лунною, да с песней той, что вдали летит звеня, да с той старинною, с той синесторонною, что по ночам так мучила меня. One more time. Ready? Those were the days, my friend. We thought they'd never end. We'd sing and dance forever and a day. We'd live the life we choose. We'd fight and never lose. For we were young and chosen have our ways. La 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 la.
Now that would have been a nice to finish on. I've got one more. And this is a complete change of tone, complete change of everything, because I promised you a confession of how my grandmother lost her home for the very first time. She was a child, only 11 years old. But on 23rd of February, 1944, so 2 days, 80 years from now, Joseph Stalin declared the entire population of Ingushetia and Chechnya enemies of the people, Nazi collaborators in league with Hitler, and course, that was absurd because English and Chechen men were fighting in the Russian army against Hitler's forces. And well, the collective punishment, that was for everyone, including newborn babies. They were also Nazi collaborators and enemies of the state. And of course, this whole Nazi card, sadly, well, way too relevant, considering, so we're talking about Friday's anniversary, think about yesterday's anniversary. But anyway, this is the story of my grandmother's family, her people, their survival, their fight to preserve their very existence. It's also a story of love. Love between my grandmother's parents. Her father, a war hero pilot, he was to be named hero of the Soviet Union after he perished delivering supplies to the besieged Leningrad. But even that was stripped away from him. And all of a sudden he became an enemy of the people, same as everybody else. But his widow, my grandmother's mom, stayed true and stayed strong. And yet, not only so many needless losses of life arose from this tragedy, because the punishment was deportation. Transportation to the wasteland of northern Kazakhstan. People were rounded up on a bank holiday in their homes, given 30 minutes to pack whatever belongings they could, and shipped off, nobody told them where. So yes, middle of winter, completely different climate down there, by the way, so yes, totally frozen. And when they were delivered to their destination, and you can imagine the journey itself, no creature comforts whatsoever. And yes, people in the local villages, whatever, were told that don't even get close to those monsters. They're cannibals, they're hardly human. And yet some people did help. And that's when those people who can see with their heart. So it's amazing that we do have this capacity to see with our hearts and past the propaganda and see others as fellow human beings, same as ourselves. But anyway, I do talk too much. This is the story of the English people. And they did return back home in 1957. But sadly, this tragedy meant that when my grandmother chose to marry a Russian doctor, her own brother has never forgiven her and saw it as treachery. But love won decades later, and that's all thanks to this song. Because in that song, my grandmother's clan heard her voice finally after she was gone. And there was this surreal ceremony in my grandmother's ancestral village in the Highlands, among her ancestral towers, where the clan gathered, and my English husband was presented with a ceremonial sword as a sign of our acceptance back into the Akhiv clan. And there was even an apology to my grandmother and an honouring of her memory. So this gives us hope that sometimes it takes a long time, but love can win. So I will love you and leave you with this song, The Moon and the Pilot. Thank you so much for having me.
Moon and pilot, how much made in heaven? She hoped and waited that he'll be back soon. The bravest man for the fairest maiden strangers in uniform came to the village. The men who could fight were away at dawn. By order of Stalin, the children of women were shoved into rail cars, and home was no more. Shine, my heart, your face made of light. Let down your hair. Love is the night. The pilot's wife hid all her jewels, exchanged them in exile for food and for love. In the darkest of nights, she guided her children like the moon shining through deportation and war. Shine, my home, your face made of light. Let down your hair. Love is the night. She awaited in vain the return of her pilot. Gave herself to her children, gave them hope, gave them love. The fairest woman, the bravest mother, she was simply alone. And the pilot's wife, shine, my heart, your face made of light. Let down your hair. Love is the light. See, чернее ночи, чашу испей до дна.
Ladies and gentlemen, Daria Kulesh. I did in reverse order. So, Milton Street.
Neil, we need the saucepan.
Oh, the saucepan has not been at that end of the table. Yeah, pop that up that way, that's fine. So, with 8 points, Milton Street table. The Jailhouse Fingers 6. 8 points. 9 points for the Hank Gators, is that right? Okay, sorry, you're Hank and Polgate, I'm guessing. Okay, and then we have 10 points for Team Lisa and Jason. But the Bluebell Foodies with 11. That's just great. And for all for those of you wondering about Daria's blues singing name, it would be Old Pickle Smith. Old Pickle Smith, that's what you would be. I think you would
Can I be
be.
Sugar Pickle?
That would be even better. Sugar Pickles Smith, brilliant. Such engaging stories, exquisitely told, ladies and gentlemen. One more time for Daria Kulesh. Do you fancy doing the mad one for us?
Right. Well, to be honest, I was going to do a Cossack song anyway. Here's a story of a woman who my grandmother would have gone swimmingly with. Her name was Alona of Arzamas, or Alona Arzamasska, and if you like, she was Russia's Joan of Arc, even though, well, Joan of Arc rose to protect her king. Alona of Arzamas was in Stinka Razin's army who rebelled against the Tsars to win the people's freedom. And, well, she was the only woman in history to bear the title and the rank of a Cossack ataman. Oh. Yes, quite incredible. Again, all the best stories are true. Please join me on the chorus. If you burn me, I won't scream. So that I won't scream, I definitely want to hear lots of voices in this. I won't scream. And the second bit that I would like you to join in on is to control me, none would dream. So a song for all the women here. Yeah, let's. I was born a woman, pretty tall, and my father put into a convent, too strong-willed to be a wife. Jesus was my bridegroom, but I chose another, married to a rebel blade. I live a Cossack's life. If you burn me, I won't scream. I'm a dealer, killer, witch, and a nun. To control me, none would dream. They'll call me ataman. Call me ataman. Convent couldn't hold me. I joined a rebel army, rose to their commander, shared their glory and their strife, led 2,000 men fighting for our freedom with no shame and no regrets. I live a Cossack's life. If you burn me, I won't scream. I'm a dealer, killer, witch, and a nun. To control me, none would dream. They'll call me ataman. Call me ataman. When the Tsars and forces finally subdued us, they could not believe there was a creature such as me. None could bend my bow, and I would bow to no one till my final breath. A Cossack I will be. Go and burn me, I won't scream. I'm a killer, witch, and a nun. To control me, none
Okay,